Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In common with many others on both sides of this House, I, on the eve of the referendum, sent an email out to thousands of my constituents, not to tell them how I thought they should vote, they knew well enough how I thought they should vote, but to urge them to participate in this referendum where every vote would count. And I said in that email, there are men and women of goodwill and common decency on both the Leave and Remain sides. Many I disagree with are my friends, yet we disagree in goodwill and with good faith. When it is over, the result must be respected, for it will be the collective judgment of the British people, and as Democrats, that demands our respects. Now, Mr. Speaker, after the referendum, both sides of the House, all sides of the House, lined up to tell the public we would respect it. But as the urgency of that instruction of June 2016 has faded with the passage of time, people have now started to come out of the woodwork to indicate that we don't actually respect it. And there is an undercurrent here of people actually sort of saying that those who voted Leave were maybe a bit thick or mildly racist, that it was impossible to comprehend that you could be internationalist, global in outlook, liberal, tolerant, decent and pro-immigration and be in favour of leaving the European Union. And so we get the calls for the so-called second referendum. Mr. Speaker, we've already had the second referendum. We had the first referendum in 1975, right. We had the second referendum in 2016, and if people want to articulate the case for a third referendum, I say bring it on. But let the 41 years elapse between the second and the third, so stick it in your diaries. We'll have the third referendum in 2057. Mr. Speaker, you cannot make a once-in-a-generation decision every 3 years. Now, let me just say a quick word about the agreement itself. The agreement itself is fundamentally flawed. We're handing... I give way to my friend.
The agreement is flawed in many ways, but not least we will be subject to the binding rules of the ECJ, despite what we're told by the front bench.
My honourable friend is absolutely right, and we were clear during the campaign that the areas that we wanted to take back control were our laws, our monies, our borders, and this withdrawal agreement fails in many, many ways, not least in the backstop, which is absolutely toxic for our friends from Northern Ireland. Part of the problem, I would contend, Mr. Speaker, is we've sort of approached these negotiations as we were sort of renegotiating the terms of our membership, not trying to agree the terms of our departure. And we have been led by so many people in this process who fundamentally cleaved to the messages they put out during the campaign, that it was a disaster, that there were no merits in leaving the European Union. And I saw that up close and personal when I was at PPS, at the Treasury and latterly in Bays. Mr. Speaker, this must be the first time in history that the terms of the peace have been written by the losing side. We have focused for too long now in this House on the process of Brexit. I would like to say a word about the causes of Brexit. And I have to say I agree with so much of what the Shadow Secretary of State said on this. Yes, the slogan was take back control. Yes, it was about leaving the European Union. Yes, it was about the opportunities beyond our shores in signing global trade deals and the recognition that the EU's share of world GDP has fallen from 23% in 1980 and is likely to fall to 15% by 2020. And it isn't that the EU economy, it hasn't shrunk in size, but the rest of the world has grown faster and will continue to do so. But, Mr. Speaker, I think Brexit was a great cry from the heart and soul of the British people. Too many people in this country feels the country and the economy is not working for them, that the affairs of our nation are organised around a London elite. They look at the bankers being paid bonuses for the banks that their taxes helped to rescue. They look at our embassies in the Gulf holding flat parties to sell off plan exclusive London properties when they worry about how they will ever get on to the housing ladder. They worry that they may be the first generation who are not better off than their parents, and they want to see a system back that spreads wealth and opportunity. Mr. Speaker, Brexit was a challenge, a rebuke to this place, but Brexit represents an opportunity to take this country on a different path. I passionately believe this nation is yearning for us to get back onto the domestic agenda. They voted to take back control. They want us to use that control to help them improve their lives and enrich this country.